How's it going, everyone? K Steel here, and welcome to the first episode of my new series, Beta Quest. Also, I hope you liked the new logo. I designed it myself. Not really, I just used a template. For a while, I had a huge fascination with game development, gaming history, and strange things in gaming, and often talk about it with some people on Discord. However, it ultimately hit me. I love to talk about this stuff, so why not make a video about this stuff? Or how about a video series? And that's what I decided to do. So yeah, this new series will get into the development and beta of games, the history of games, and various other mysteries and strange things about games. It's about games is what I'm getting at. And what better thing to start off this new series with than one of the most fascinating subjects in video games, the mystery of Luigi in Super Mario 64. Super Mario 64 is, after all, one of my most favorite games of all time. But one of the things I found very unusual is that Luigi, despite being a prominent character in previous Mario games, was nowhere to be found in this landmark of video game history, not even as a side character. And yet, for decades, there were all these rumors and so-called tips and guides that would supposedly help you get to play or even see Luigi in Mario 64. So what's the deal with all this nonsense? Where is Luigi? What happened to him? Are these guys real? Are there really ways you can get Luigi in Mario 64? Well, that is what we will discuss today on the very first episode of Beta Quest, the mystery of Luigi in Super Mario 64. So, let's get this out of the way. What's the truth? Where is Luigi in this game? The truth is, he is nowhere in the game. There is sadly no code that is dedicated to Luigi in the final builds of Super Mario 64 on the N64. Yes, he is in Super Mario 64 DS, but in terms of the N64 original, he is non-existent. However, this does not mean that he was never planned to appear, because in fact, he was pretty close to appearing. You see, Super Mario 64 was intended to have two-player support, with player 1 as Mario and player 2 as Luigi, like in the classic games. Various interviews showed that various ideas for multiplayer was tossed around, with one idea being that the screen would be split in half, with one side showing Mario and the other side showing Luigi. Another idea was an experiment where the screen view would grow larger or smaller depending on how far apart the characters were, with the experiment showing Mario and Luigi running around a field. It should be mentioned that these came from Iwata Ask sessions with Nintendo employees who worked on the game, of course. Unfortunately, these ideas were dropped due to the fact that hardware limitations of the N64 made the combo of these styles of multiplayer and 3D platforming unachievable simultaneously. I even read that they had to choose between making the game two-player but only feature simple level design, or make the game one player but feature complex level design, and the former was the better option. Despite this loss, the idea of a single screen multiplayer with a growing or shrinking field of view was reused in games like New Super Mario Bros. Wii and Super Mario 3D World, proving that Nintendo still likes to reuse ideas that were unused for future games. So there you have it, the truth behind Luigi's lack of presence in Super Mario 64. Tragic, I know, but sadly this information did not exist back in the day, and fans were desperate to find any trace of Luigi in the final releases of Super Mario 64 on the N64. Which brings us to these rumors. The rumors of Luigi's existence in Super Mario 64 stems from the star in the courtyard, which features a plaque on the bottom. Unfortunately, the text is too blurry to properly make out what it actually says, and as of this video, it is unknown where the texture for this plaque came from. Despite this, many believe that the star says L is real 2401, which was believed to be a clue to Luigi's whereabouts within the game, spawning a trillion rumors and cheats about where he really is. So, what is that statement supposed to mean? Well, one interpretation is that Luigi's in the game, but you need 2,401 coins to unlock him, which is a strange thing to interpret since there's no way anyone could figure out how many coins were in the game, especially when the coin counter resets after you leave a stage, if memory serves me right. Another interpretation is that the L is real statement is supposed to be the expected North American release date of Paper Mario, which was released on February 5th, 2001, and Luigi is a character within the game. It is even believed that the less intelligible text below the L is real statement says in Paper M. However, I find this to simply be a coincidence, since the game was released in Japan on August 11th, 2000, and to have something like that in a game primarily developed in Japan is a little too hard for me to accept. Not to mention, at this stage of development, the game was under the title of Mario RPG 2 and is also known in Japan as Mario's Story. Despite this, in recent years, we've been getting newer developments as to what that plaque really says or meant. In 2016, a letter surfaced that the plaque does say L is real 2401, but this was a joke by the developers and has no real meaning, which could be true, but I'm taking that with a grain of salt considering how such things could be easily fabricated. Aside from that, there was a more recent development where a Twitter or Reddit user, I'm not sure which one, did an experiment where they typed a logical assumption as to what that plaque would say, which was Eternal Star, and lowered the resolution greatly, with the final result being super similar in look and shape to what the texture looked like. But again, unless we find the actual texture, we'll never know for sure. Despite this, fans were adamant to find Luigi in Super Mario 64, which then resulted in all sorts of crazy crackers as to how players can get Luigi in the final game. Fans were being bombarded with all sorts of fake hints, cheats, tips, and guides as to how one could get a character who doesn't exist in the final game. Tragically, most of the supposed actual tips and cheats and stuff were lost over time, and all you can really get these days are just parodies and jokes of these things. However, some still exist, so I'll go over those, plus the ones I can recall properly. Because yeah, I did think Luigi was in the game, and I wanted to see him, but now I know better, sadly. Ignorance is bliss, I tell you. So, check this out. Did you all know that you can get Luigi by collecting all 120 stars? Once you do, go to the front yard and go inside the cannon, and once you do, align the cannon up to a very specific spot, which is right above the roof. The roof must take up about 1/3 of the circle, and the tower should not be visible. Once you do, shoot yourself out of the cannon, and you'll get Luigi. This is so excellent and awesome. Yes! Yes, yes! No. That doesn't work. This supposed cheat actually came with video footage, and I do remember seeing this one, and I actually tried it myself, because I didn't know better, but said footage has been lost over time, tragically. Despite that, this type of nonsense was being propagated throughout the Mario fandom at the time. Here's a good one from a source that managed to save a few of these rumors and tips. Link will be provided in the description. First, get 120 stars. If you drain the water, only the fish pond will be there. Go into the fish pond and die. This may take a couple tries. If it's true, Luigi will be waiting for you at Tick-Tock Clock. Okay, why would he even be at Tick-Tock Clock? And how would the game even track something like this? That doesn't make sense. Okay, one more. First of all, do not save the game. Start the game with Mario's nose sticking out. Okay. Then start a new game. Then, at the beginning, go and swim around the whole perimeter of the outside pond. Then go and get 10 stars without going down into the basement. Then go and get the wing cap. Then go and get all the stars on Bomb Battlefield, Womp's Fortress, and Jolly Roger Bay. Then go into the basement and get the rabbit and boil the big buddy. No, sorry, I meant bully. I'm going to leave that. Then go into the princess's secret slide and beat it 2 times. The second time must be exactly 23.6 seconds. Then Luigi will pop up and give you a star. Then you may save. Oh, now you can save? Then, at the beginning of the game, you'll have the option of picking either Mario or Luigi. Yeah, that's very simple, very easy to do, very easy to accomplish. Totally possible. I'm sure the programmers intended that 100%. So yeah, you had all this nonsense about doing things with very specific timings, doing highly specific tasks, going to specific places, jumping into waterfalls, dying a specific number of times, and nonsense like that. Some even had you get physical items like a green N64 controller, as if that's going to work. And some even suggested that characters like Peach and Wario were in the game playable for whatever reason. But as we established, all this is nonsense, and the only character you can play as is Mario in the N64 version. However, in 2020, a major bombshell came into the gaming industry with the infamous Nintendo Giga Leak, and I was definitely not expecting this. The Giga Leak came with code and models for Super Mario 64, with some of them being for none other than Luigi. Yes, after almost 30 years of this nonsense, tips, guides, and rumors, we finally managed to get the one and true Luigi in Super Mario 64, complete with his model, code, and textures made specifically for him. Okay, I think they actually just modified a Mario model and some of the textures, but still. When I first saw this, I was in disbelief and shock and didn't even want to buy it, primarily because of some of the weird details about the Giga Leak. But there it was, the one and true Luigi. No 120 stars and dying in a fish pond or ultra specific times and numbers of coins or anything. But sadly, this still does not mean that Luigi is really in the final build of Mario 64 on the N64. But it is nice to see what Luigi would have looked like via real code from Nintendo, even though said content was acquired through questionable means. But there you have it, the mystery and truth of Luigi in Super Mario 64. Despite what all the supposed cheats, rumors, and guides will tell you, and even though the Nintendo Giga Leak of 2020 did provide us with some fascinating information about Luigi's existence in Mario 64, Luigi is not in the final releases of the N64 original game. While it is sad that Luigi was removed, Super Mario 64 is still a darn fine game that, despite showing its age in some spots, is still very fun to play to this day. And while all these rumors are really dumb, they're still a very fun and fascinating read into a time that is swiftly disappearing, in an era where data mining and hacking can quickly reveal the truth of these very insane rumors. But I can assure you one thing, no matter how much info comes out, no matter how much truth happens, you'll still have some hyper bizarre rumors and weird stuff happening in the video game landscape, and rumors will forever exist. They'll just be hard to disprove and more believable, and I'll be there to talk about it. But until then, this has been K-Steel with Beta Quest signing out. I'll see you all later. This was a Kobalt Steel video by MS Bernie. Like, comment, and subscribe if you liked what you saw. Until next time, see you all later.